Okay, in this video I'm going to show how to create a forced tie slope so that we don't use a ditch or fill slope on the left side for a given location. This would also be able to tie in two different slopes that come in. Uh, so first thing we need to do is we need to create a, a fill slope inside of the template. So we'll go into our template drop where we need to add it. That should open up this dialog, which we can see we have the ditch in here and we have the fill slope, and we need to add in a forced tie slope. So I'm going to add a new component in here. It's going to be an end condition, and down here at the bottom I'm going to tell it that it's a forced tie, and instead of going down looking and seeking a terrain model, I'll have it go out and look for a feature definition. So a line that we draw in there that's got both horizontal and vertical, and it's got the right feature definition. So we'll pick that. And then in our feature definition, we're going to go out and choose one called force tie slope. This should already be available to you here. Okay, and then so for our feature, this is going to be an excess ground proposed. Okay, and then so where we're going to start this, we're going to start it right here at the end of our guardrail widening, and we're just going to draw it out like that. Doesn't matter how far you draw it because it's always going to seek that feature definition, and if it doesn't see it, then it's going to go to the ditch, and if it doesn't see that, it's going to go to the fill slope. So we'll right click and finish there. When we take a look at it, we can see that it's got a priority of 1, which means that it's going to do that one first. But I believe our ditch also has a priority 1, so we need to make that priority 2 so it follows after that one. And then our fill slope would need to be a priority 3, so it goes in that order. Okay, so as long as we've got this in here and seeking that, now we have to draw a line in our drawing for it to go to. So we'll say OK to this, and it'll take a second and it'll crank through that corridor. Okay, so once you have that template updated, then what you can do is what Kevin McDonald was showing in his video was drawing a 3D line with Smartline Tool, which you can still do that. So here's the MicroStation Smartline Tool. It just needs to have 3D elevation to it, so you're going to want to snap to something out there that's got a 3D elevation to it. And you're going to let your mouse rest on those locations, because if you miss it, you're going to go down to 0. So you want to make sure that you grab those spots with that AccuSnap on. And once it highlights like that, you can left click to place that. And if you don't get that or you miss it, it's going to go down all the way down to 0. So you have to make sure that it stays highlighted and left click. So we'll just do it that far for right now. And then what I need to do is change that feature definition, because it just drew it by whatever I had up there. So it doesn't have any feature definitions assigned to it. So up here at the top, we're going to change that feature definition. It's under design standards, and then we're going to go down to roadway, and under the roadway there should be that one that we've been using, the forced tie slope, and that's what we told the other template to use, the forced tie slope end condition. We told it to go look for that, so we have to change it to that. And then what we're going to do is go to tasks, and under general geometry in the first row there is a set feature definition. So we're going to do that tool. We're going to make sure that it is set to use the active feature, which should automatically change the name to that as well. And we're going to go out in that 3D window and just select that line, and then right click to complete that. And now that, if you hit F4, hover over it, that should say that it is forced tie slope. Okay, so once that's there, we're going to add that 3D line into this corridor as a corridor reference. So to do that, we'll come back to the main window, make sure it's active, and then we're going to grab the corridor, because that's going to have to be a corridor reference. And the fourth set of tools across the top, corridor reference, and we're going to go down to the first tool in there, add a corridor reference. We're going to pick that, and then we're going to go pick this 3D line over here. Once you pick the 3D line, just right click to reset to complete that, and it'll take a second, but in this location right here, it should override the ditch or any fill slopes and go right to that line, and then continue back with the ditch as it goes past both sides. So as you can see, after it did that, it went in and now cut that back to the line that we had drawn in 2D and 3D.